welcome back to my life with plants on Yunnan. Today I had to stop watering because frosty eye is flaring now. We can have a good look if we can get the light right. There we go. Look at those neat things. They're very, very speckly, and I suppose that helps the plant to blend in with the mosses and the lichens and make it harder for moths and butterflies to lay eggs and consume them. It could be a defense thing. But we got a very, very yellow anther cap right inside there that will have the pollen. And the insect has to enter into it. And I think that it must be a fairly large insect. It can't be a butterfly or a moth. It must be a bee because of that opening there, you can see. And the bee is probably a little bit bigger than the entryway, so it has to kind of force itself in there. And as it pushes itself in there to get the sweet nectar that it exudes inside, or at the back of the flower on the inside there, I would think on the way out it pushes and knocks off the anther cap and gets pollen on it. So this is Bulbophyllum frostii, and it's native to, I think, Yunnan, China. Is that right? In Vietnam? I can't remember exactly. Being a bulbophyllum, they come from a pretty wet, tropical, cool jungles. They don't really get cold in the winter, as you know, but they're always consistently moist, these bulbophyllums. From my experience, you let them dry out for an excessive amount of time, it puts stress on the plant. So they do get a lot of water, and this one is growing in sphagnum moss, as you can see, and it's giving off a little smell. It's not I know that it's going to give off an odor that attracts bugs that like to lay eggs on something that's rotten or carrion flies, beetles. But this is really neat. Like, I love this flower. I'm so glad that it's still alive, and I've been growing it indoors. And the reason why I've been growing it indoors is I can keep an eye on it, keep the moisture up, and also we get freezing winters here, which makes me have to bring them in, and generally the plants outside, they have to dry out in between waterings, although I grow them in sphagnum moss. Yeah. I keep all my dendrobiums out there and bigger plants. This is kind of smaller. So, successfully grown indoors. It's right by a window, so I'm going to take it so you can see where it's hanging. South window. It hangs right here. So it gets very, very bright light, and you can see the net lace curtain there. So any direct sun, it'll be diffused. And there's an oscillating fan, and whenever I'm here, the door's open, so it gets a lot of breeze. This particular orchid has these ovoid pseudobulbs that are compressed, kind of an olive green, and it creeps along as it grows. You can imagine it's growing on tree trunks and branches, so it creeps along and amongst the mosses and the lichens and ferns and other plants that are growing on the trees. And it's not especially fast grower. It's kind of a slow grower, so I notice that every year it's put out 2 bulbs, 2 new bulbs. The bigger the plant gets, of course, it'll mean it'll branch in different directions, and then it'll grow more pseudo bulbs the bigger the plant is. I have another Bulbophyllum and it's out in the garden. That one is stressed. It's not doing so well. So I'm able to grow this one. And of course I was growing the Bulbophyllum japonicum, native to Japan, and I found out that grows high altitude kind of cloud forests in Japan, where it's much more humid and much mistier, much cooler. And I lost that during the winter because I live in an altitude of 20 meters above sea level. The temperature's fine for it. It can handle those very cold temperatures because it's native to Japan, of course. So -5 is no problem. It's the overall issue is that if I do get another japonicum, Bulbophyllum japonicum, I'm going to have to grow it outdoors, and during the winter I will have to bring it just outside the front door where I have my Phaeus flavus and Pleone orchid, and I have to keep it there, and I have to keep it watered. I have to keep spraying it during the winter. That's what it requires. But that's an exception. That's just a native of Japan, so they're quite different. But this one I keep indoors, and it's been doing really well. It's in like this glazed pot. There's its tag there that it was written, and of course I live here in Japan, so I bought it from my go-to store that sells many plants. I'm really happy about this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll be back for more. See you.